Oh, shit. Oops. And we're live! Hi, my name is Sophia Botha. Welcome to the latest edition of Botha Rants, the stream where we go through at a canter or a gallop, whatever your euphemism is, all the latest LGBTQ and political stories of interest, or at least interest to me. And of course, today is Friday, as I like to call it around my house, fish and chip night. And who did the Brits have to thank for one of their favourite dishes? Oh yes, us Jews. Yes, we invented battered fish. Yeah. Anyways, right, we have a packed show tonight. Right, let's get on with it. So, yesterday I tweeted Nigel Farage came up with one of his asinine fucking comments, which was nobody in the history of the world has done more for people of colour than the British royal family. Right, yeah, because they headed up the British Empire, which was built on racism, white supremacy, imperialism, and basically exploiting all quarters of the fucking globe for resources. Fuck the indigenous people. Just go and ask the Aborigines in Australia. Anyways, Jackie Walker, who I've interviewed on this show, responded by saying, well, if Farage says it must be true. I mean, someone with such a staunchly anti-racist record. Yeah, basically, Nigel Farage is talking shit again. Right? Yeah, we've had a whole deluge of white, privileged, cis-normative, heteronormative, public figures, journalists and politicians say, yeah, the royal family aren't racist. Yeah, because they're such fucking experts on what it's like to be a black woman. Yeah. So they obviously all in response to the interview Meghan Markle gave Oprah last weekend. And was it Sunday or Monday? I can't even remember now. I mean, this week has been dominated by that one story. And, of course, Piers Morgan acting like a complete and utter fucking snowflake about it all. Yes, I responded to Jackie by saying this. Prince William also claims the royals aren't racist. Because yeah, he knows what it's like to be to be black, and of course, Jackie, being black, you don't. Just as you don't know what it's like to be Jewish, despite being Jewish as me or any other Jew, which is true. Jackie Walker has taken an awful lot of shit, right, for taking a stand against the Israeli government's continuous human rights violations egregious human rights violations. Let me insert the word egregious because it is egregious. Human rights violations against the Palestinian people. And, you know, a lot of people have doubted her Jewishness on the fact that she's black, essentially, including a certain Joseph Cohen of the Israeli advocacy movement. To do so is just pure fucking racism. And as for Prince William, yeah, he's claiming that the royal family are very much not racist. Right. Okay, we're going to get into that. But hey, you know, considering that he's starting to look very much like his grandfather, who is an utter fucking racist, which we'll get into. Like he would know. I mean, extremely privileged white heteronormative cis-normative man is really going to know what it's like to be a black person, isn't he? No. I mean, he doesn't even know what it's like to be a working class white person. So, you know, shut the fuck up, all right? You know, basically, this is all damage limit. This has all been damage limitation because the bottom line is the royal family are a brand, right? Okay, yeah, I'm going to say that they are a brand, right? And this is all spin to as a means of, you know, to basically deflect the accusations that they're all a bunch of fucking inbred racists. Guess what? They are all a bunch of inbred racists. Meghan Markle has fucking proved that. Anyways, so I saw this. I'm not going to read this completely, but I like this. This is from a Socialist Appeal about the royals being in crisis, and it says over the weekend the firm, as the rich royal family like to call themselves, hey, are they a bunch of fucking football hooligans? Because that's what isn't it? You know, football hooligans. Is it? They always refer to themselves as a firm, don't they? You know, I mean, the royal family are more like fucking mafioso, aren't they? You know, I mean, hard. You know, I mean, if Queen Lizzie ain't going to be calling herself Queen Lizzie, she should be Don Lizzie, isn't she? Yeah. Saw some of the worst nightmares brought to life by Harry and Meghan as the royal couple delivered a live television interview with Oprah Winfrey. The picture of the couple presented of the royal family was one of mean, duplicitous, racist, and vengeful critique. I tell you what, I need to put on the reader because I am already struggling. Right, where is it? Okay, hold on.
The picture the couple presented of the family was one of a mean, duplicitous, racist and vengeful clique, at the head of a feudal relic that is unwilling and unable to reform itself. Just like Diana before her, the interview revealed that the firm has treated Meghan as an outsider, and with the uttermost spite. One of the most disgusting revelations include the claim by Meghan that one unnamed royal had expressed to Harry concerns and conversations about how dark their son's skin might be when born. For the crime of having a child of mixed race, the royal family took their revenge by denying the child, Archie, the title of prince and concomitant police protection. Meghan claimed her general treatment was such that she was pushed to the point of feeling suicidal. And according to Prince Harry, his father Prince Charles is now refusing to take his own son's phone calls.
Yeah, how lovely. Yeah, here we are. This section here.
But this is not any old family. This family is a core institution of the British establishment. Its rottenness is the rottenness of the whole capitalist state. Its crisis is part of the crisis of the whole system, at the core of which it sits putrefying. And its attitudes are the attitudes of a ruling class that has grown rich off of slavery, colonial plunder, and policies of racist division. The monarchy is linked to the whole ruling class by 1,000 threads, through a sordid network of public schools, wealthy institutions, banks, private clubs, and family ties. Monarchs and princes, judges and army generals, city financiers and top civil servants, lords and ladies, they are all bound together with the glue of an immense wealth, and the desire to preserve this status quo at all costs.
And, it goes on to say, no wonder the yellow press and sycophants like Piers Morgan have jumped in, providing a patriotic chorus of support for the monarchy and rushing to pour suspicion and doubt on Meghan and Harry's claims and motives. Of course, Harry and Meghan are as much part of the same parasite class as the rest of the royals, who can deny it. Their interview with Oprah will prove extremely personally lucrative too. Yeah, I mean that is true, but that does not excuse racism. Okay, being directed towards Meghan. Undoubtedly, they will continue to do what they can do to profit from their situation as royal outcasts. Therein lies the danger for the royal family. Yeah, they are going to perpetually dine out on either being part of the royal family or outcasts of the royal family or form of royals. They will do so. So this is the interesting part for me.
The monarchy is far from a mere ornamental bauble on the British state. It is not for nothing that the British capitalist class are prepared to pay a tidy sum to maintain these reactionary parasites. The reigning monarch enjoys unlimited powers under the British Constitution. We should never forget that it is Her Majesty's government, Her Majesty's civil service, and Her Majesty's armed forces. We are allowed to imagine, in normal, peaceful times, that this is a mere formality. But should the establishment require it, in a time of crisis, the monarchy can legally assume unlimited powers. It is more than a feudal anachronism, it is a reserve weapon in the hands of the ruling class.
Yeah, I totally agree with what that is said, and it is true. The monarch could usurp and stage a coup, and we could find ourselves in a fascist fucking regime before we, knew it. Is it likely? No, but the fact that the monarch has powers which are not accountable to the electorate is still dangerous. Okay, and. I mean, the last time I'm trying to remember this from history. The last time I remember that the monarch sort of said to a prime minister that they had to call a general election before Parliament was up was, I think, in 1910 or 1911, when the Liberal government had wanted to bring in reform to the House of Lords, basically to prevent the House of Lords, who, again, aren't accountable to the electorate, in stopping legislation. And so, the monarch then, who of course was was King Edward, wasn't it? And he basically said to the then Prime Minister that you had to call a general election on this issue. People should remember this. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was, people seem to think that it is the People's Parliament. No, it's not. It's, it's Lizzie Windsor's fucking Parliament. We are Lizzie Windsor's fucking subjects. I don't want to be fucking owned by some fucking, crusty fucking toff who just happened to be born with the right fucking silver spoon shoved up her ass. All right, I'm my own fucking person. We should be citizens, not fucking subjects. Yeah. And the government should be the government of the citizens of Great Britain and Northern Ireland if it wants to stay. And Scotland, of course. I do support Scottish independence, of course. obviously this is making the case for a socialist republic. I'd much rather a socialist republic than a constitutional monarchy. And fuck you, Terry the Troll. Yes, Terry the Troll. He always hated it when I used to refer to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II as, well, Lizzie Windsor, because that's who she is to me. Fuck, I don't believe in fucking titles and I'd actually tell a lie. I do believe in titles if you've earned them, like Doctor. You've actually studied for that. Well, okay, some people get those titles from like some correspondent, shitty, bogus fucking correspondent course in the United States. But generally, people earn the title Doctor. Okay, they own, so fair enough. That's a meritocracy. Okay, but just because you're given a knighthood, I ain't gonna refer to you as Sir. This is why I never refer to Keir Starmer as Sir Keir Starmer. No, fuck off. I fucking hate it all. I really do. Anyway, so Prince William, of course, being an expert on racism, says the royal family isn't racist. Right. Okay. Well, explain this then. Also, let's remember when Edward wasn't allowed to marry his that woman who was American who'd been divorced. Of course, had sort of he had shall we say, sparked up a friendship with Hitler. Remember that? Yeah, I do. I remember this sort of stuff, and I think the links between the Nazis, the royals and the Nazis go a bit deeper, particularly as let's not remember that the royal family are of German heritage. Yeah. I'm not saying all Germans are Nazis. Please don't think I am, because I'm not. But the thing is, fascism appeals to the ruling classes. And the royal family would be no fucking different as far as I'm concerned. I mean, this is a bunch of fucking people who have, they're inbreds because they want to keep the blood of the royal lineage pure. No, they don't want any black people. No. They don't want to reflect a more diverse society which we now have, and diversity is a good thing. If we were all meant to be born, if we were all meant to be the same, we would have all been born fucking clones. Shit, I forgot. I was meant to say something there, but my mind just completely went blank. Yeah, it'll come back to me. Anyways, so to say that the royal family aren't racist, never mind about supposed links with the Nazis. Shall we talk about Prince Philip and the stuff? So people say, "Oh, can you say the royals are now racist?" Well, let's just talk about what Prince Philip has said in his own words, shall we? Yeah, I know I went through some of this on Monday with Ozma. We went partially through it, but I'm going to go through the whole thing now, okay? Because not all this is racist, all right? Some of it's misogynistic. But let's talk about what Prince Philip has said. When Meghan Markle, said that a member of the royal household had said, how dark would her son's skin be. The most obvious culprit was, Prince Philip. So this is some of the shit he has said. Okay, as I said, it's not all racist, but British women can't cook. The Scottish Women's he told the Scottish Women's Institute in 1961. As if he's ever cooked a dinner for himself. Yeah, I mean, these fucking roles that go around and say British women can't cook. Do they actually know who cooks their fucking dinners for them? Because they don't cook themselves, do they? No? No, of course they fucking don't. I mean, fucking Prince fucking Charles has you know, he can't even be bothered to put the toothpaste on the toothbrush for himself. He gets his fucking butler to do it. It looks like the kind of thing my daughter would bring back from her school art lessons, he muttered while being shown Ethiopian art in 1965. I would like to go to Russia very much, although the bastards murdered half my family. At a very heated period in 1967. He's of Greek descent, isn't he? I didn't know if he had links to the Russian royal family. I don't know. But whatever. Not a nice thing to say, is it? What do you gargle with? Pebbles, he told singer Tom Jones at the 1969 Royal Variety performance. Later edit, it's difficult to see how it's possible to become immensely valuable by singing what are the most hideous songs. I'm not a fan of Tom Jones, but you know, he's got a fan base. We don't come here for our health. We kind of think of other ways of enjoying ourselves, he told journalists. Yeah, he's been nasty to the Canadians. He told journalists in Canada in 1976. You are a woman, aren't you? He told a Kenyan woman who was presenting him with a small gift in 1984. So he's also well, not. No, I wouldn't say that's transphobia. I can see somehow some people would say that is, but not necessary. Is it? Oh, that's a good question. But one I can't be bothered to delve into right at the moment. If you stay here much longer, this is the famous one. If you stay here much longer, you will be slitty-eyed. The prince told British exchange students who lived in Zion in 1986. When asked his opinion on Beijing, he said, "Ghastly." Yeah, you see, he's not I mean, the thing is, the royal family, right, is sent on these like trade missions to basically boost British trade, right? And well, you know, the whole point of it is to be diplomatic, and well, fucking Prince Philip is like a fucking bull he's a racist bull in a china shop, isn't he? If it has 4 legs and it's not a chair, it has 2 wings and flies, but is not an aeroplane. And if it swims and it is not a submarine, the Cantonese will eat it. Yeah, that's out and out, yet again, out and out fucking racism towards the Chinese. That's 2 incidences of out and out racism towards the Chinese. Now, this is really disgusting. I don't think a prostitute is more moral than a wife, but they are doing the same thing. Oh, right, so Lindsay Windsor is essentially, he thinks his wife is a prostitute. That's what he's essentially just said. He thinks Lizzie is a whore. God. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. That's one of the most misogynistic statements I think I've ever fucking heard. Oh no, I might catch some ghastly disease. When asked if he wanted to pet a koala in Australia back in 1992. You can't have been here that long. You haven't got a pot belly, he told a British tourist during a visit to Budapest. I don't know what that's in reference to, but it's obviously racist. Aren't most of you descended from pirates? He inquired to an islander while in the Cayman Islands in 1994. I don't know if the Cayman Islands were with pirates They basically occupied the Cayman Islands. I know that the people who live on Norfolk Island in the South Pacific are descendants from the Bounty. There was the mutiny on the Bounty. Christian, oh God, what's his name? Fletcher. I forgot what his first name was. Yeah. Anyways, how do you keep natives off the booze long enough to pass the test? He asked the Scottish. Fuck. Hell. Yeah. It was part of the fortunes of war. We didn't have casualty counsellors rushing around every time somebody let off a gun, asking, "Are you all right? Are you sure you don't have a ghastly problem?" You just got to get on with it. When asked about stress counselling for soldiers in 1995. PTSD and has was God, what did they used to call it? I forgot what they used to call it. Shell shock. That was it. Since the First fucking World War, right? Yeah. So basically, he is basically being a macho fucking bully here by saying, that those men who saw horrific shit in war, and it had an effect on them are basically pussies. That's what he's saying. Not actually, he's basically belittling mental health. People have mental health issues, and I would imagine, a lot of people that they all like to talk to. If I was in the war, I wouldn't have any problem with killing and whatever else. Yeah, sure. It's a different case when you are actually involved in war. Okay, so don't that is really just utter fucking. It's just disgusting. You managed to get eaten then. So you didn't manage not to. So you managed not to get eaten then. The prince told a British student who had been trekking Papua New Guinea. Yet again, more racism. Where's the Southern comfort? He told. He said on receipt of a basket of Southern goods from the U.S. ambassador in London. I don't know if that's a reference to the drink, or if he thought that, as in, he thought stereotypically that Southerners just drink Southern Comfort, which they don't. I mean, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, plenty of other, bourbon. I mean, I'm partial to Jack Daniels personally, or if it's a reference to something else. But anyways. Deaf. If you're near there, no wonder you are deaf. He told a group of deaf school children who were nearby a Caribbean steel drum in 2000. Ableist as well, I see. I forgot there was ableism here. You could do with losing a little bit of weight. He told a 13-year-old Andrew Adams after hearing he wanted to become an astronaut while visiting a science museum in 2001. All right, so fat shaming as well. Well, this is the full fucking gamut of bigotry here with Prince Philip, innit? So who's on drugs here? He looks like if he's on drugs. He told a 14-year-old boy at a Bangladesh youth club in 2002. My taxes pay for this cunt to go abroad to represent this country, okay? Or they did before he decided to retire, yeah? And he's representing this country by saying this shit, This is why I fucking hate the royal family. You look like you're ready for bed. He told President of Nigeria, who was dressed in traditional robes. Yet again, my taxes pay for him to spout off racist bullshit to people, this country needs to do business with. Okay? Fucking hell. Is it a strip club? He asked when meeting a female sea cadet who told the prince she worked at a nightclub in 2009. Yeah, more misogyny. That's a nice tie. Do you have the knickers? Do you have any knickers in that material? He asked Annabelle Golding, the Scottish Conservative leader, when welcoming the Pope to Edinburgh in 2010. The Philippines must be half empty. You're all here running the NHS, he told nurses at Luton and Dunstable Hospital in 2013. Fucking hell. And there's this one, but this is just funny. Just take the fucking picture, he told a photographer during a Battle of Britain event in 2015. I mean, he's just he's practically on his deathbed, and I can't say I'm going to be that weepy when he does actually finally croak, which will probably be sooner than later, by all reports and accounts at the moment. So, fuck him. As far as I'm concerned, another dead racist tosser toff. Oh, why should I cry? I'll fucking have a party. I did have a party when Margaret Thatcher dropped dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is... I also had a party when Ian Paisley fucking keeled over. More about Northern Ireland a bit later, funny enough. But of course, if there's one person who's going to defend racism, it's Benny Shapiro, and he did. Let's check this out.
Alrighty, so let's actually get to what Meghan Markle and Prince.
Oh, sorry, I should. I always forget to fucking do this. All right. Okay. So this is Ben Shapiro's response to Oprah's interview with Harry and Meghan. Or was it Meghan? Actually, it was more Meghan and Harry, wasn't it? Because Harry wasn't there at the beginning. Anyways, so he ends up defending the fucking royal family. Now, I find this really weird, and I'll tell you why. Well, I find it weird and I don't find it weird. Okay, let me explain. So, typically, conservatives in the United States have been pro-republic, right? Because, I mean, they wanted, the whole founding of America was about throwing off the yoke of monarchy and hereditary law and establishing a democracy. Sure, it wasn't a democracy as we know it now, but it was a start. Okay, and having a written constitution, right? And blah de blah de blah, right? And Alex Jones is a complete and utter hateful motherfucker bigot, but he at least wants there to be a republic. Nowadays, though, conservatives in the United States, such as Ben Shapiro and Caitlin Bennett, she's one. She's described herself as in favour of there being a monarchy. I mean, this was the whole thing with Trump. They didn't want President Trump. They wanted King Trump, didn't they? But now Ben Shapiro seems to be in favour of a monarchy. Let's have a listen.
Harry actually said, because I mean, what difficult lives they lead. It is one of the saddest stories I've ever heard. I mean,
all right, okay, that's a fair point. I'm not going to say I disagree with everything Ben says here. That Harry and Meghan do, live in they do have they are wealthy. I mean, Harry has that 25 million, lives on that 25 million dowry from his mum, Princess Di, doesn't he? And they're not going to know the hardships of many working people. But it doesn't excuse racism and bigotry. Okay?
I mean, a prince, grew up a prince, was shielded from his own idiocy for literally years. Remember, Prince Harry was a guy who just, back in 2005, dressed up in like a full-on Nazi uniform at a Halloween party.
Yeah, that's true, and he was a dick for doing so. Okay? I wouldn't deny that, and obviously me and Ben have particular feelings about that one, considering our heritage. But the thing is, people can change. Okay, that's that's the thing. People can change.
Right, so like Ralph Northam would just never happened, right?
No, we're not saying it didn't happen. We're saying that he's reformed his ways.
It's pretty incredible how
this is the thing. Ben Shapiro seems to think that Prince Harry's the same person he was 15 years ago. Hey Ben, are you the same? Well, actually, you probably are the same asshole. I did see an interview where he gave Piers Morgan back in 2012 the other day. Piers Morgan keeps cropping up, doesn't he? Yeah, Ben, I'm certainly not the same person I was 15 years ago. I mean, for starters, of transition, I've come out as trans, but just politically and culturally, I am different. People change, Ben. And we learn. Well, some of us do. You don't, apparently.
how that guy is now Captain Woke. So that's exciting stuff.
Captain Woke. Oh. I'm really getting fed up with this whole, wokey bullshit. It's basically, what Conservatives are saying about people who are woke are basically people who are being considerate towards others. They're criticising people who are being considerate towards other people. That's what they're doing. That is essentially it. Okay?
Repentance is possible, people. All you have to do is take your entire family and just toss them under the bus. And meanwhile, Meghan, what a victim. What a difficult life she has led. I can't speak enough about what a heroine she is. I mean, just that.
See, he's now undermining, any hardship she might have felt. Look, here's the thing. I'm not denying that these are two very privileged people, but as I say, there are, it doesn't excuse, right, the shit, the grief they've had from the royal family. Okay? It doesn't excuse it. Right? And this is what Ben's trying to do. He's trying to say, well, they don't know what it's like to be, ordinary, guy on the street. They don't know those hardships. No, they don't. I would agree with you there. But the thing is, it doesn't, you seem to think that obfuscates, any complaints they might have. I mean, they're not complaining that the toilet that they're falling on hard times because they haven't got a heated fucking toilet seat, or that their food isn't being served to them on a fucking gold tray, are they? No.
The amount of heroism that she displayed by going on Oprah and ripping on her in-laws' family for fame and fortune, I mean, truly incredible stuff. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, so many tough things have happened to Meghan Markle. Like one time, Kate Middleton taught her to curtsy, or Prince Harry taught her to curtsy right before she met the Queen. It's just because she was an ignorant American, you see. And then
but you see, the thing is, Ben, why should she have to curtsy to Lizzie Windsor? Why? Lizzie Windsor, bleeds and shit's the same colour as you and I. She's nothing special. Okay, right? She just happened to be born with the right silver spoon shoved up her jacksie. Okay.
Ushered into the halls back, but then she saw the flaws in the royal family in a way no one else could, because she'd experienced American-style racism, so she was shocked to see it in the halls of royalty. That's it. By the way, Netflix movie coming out in a year.
Ha 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 ha. Not funny. You're just belittling, the shit that Meghan Markle has had to endure. Okay, and you're not funny at doing it, Ben.
Watch. Starring them, probably. Right, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe she'll recast herself, but I don't know. Maybe she likes seeing herself on film. Who the hell knows? In any case, here she was explaining, Prince Harry taught her to curtsy. She was just a little down-home girl from America, and she came in, and she had to learn the ways of the royals, but only she was able to identify their deepest secret flaw.
What's that the bullshit? Oh, what the fuck? Huh? What? Sorry, I don't get that at all.
Racism. Here we go with Oprah.
Harry and I are in the car, and he says, "Okay, well, my grandmother's there, so you're going to meet her." Oh, great! I loved my grandmother. I used to take care of my grandmother. This is great. He goes, "Right? Do you know how to curtsy?" What? I said, "Do you know how to curtsy?" Now, I thought genuinely that was what happens outside.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the fanfare. Or I didn't think that's what happens inside. And
Yeah, I mean, you have to curtsy to fucking Lizzie Windsor, when you just happen to meet her in private. Fuck, what? These stupid fucking asinine fucking protocols. Hey, these people, what the fucking hell? There's fucking, there's fucking hunger and fucking war in the world, but hey, you have to courtesy to Lizzie Windsor when you meet her in private, because she just happened to have the right silver spoon, but, up her arsehole when she was born. Fucking hell. This is what the fucking protocols, tradition, protocols. Fuck tradition, fuck protocols. It used to be traditional to burn witches at the stake. We don't fucking do it anymore, do we? No, fuck tradition. Now, fuck courtesy. Megan, you're no different to Lizzie fucking Windsor. And, in fact, you are a better person than fucking Lindsay Windsor, I can tell you. Lizzie Windsor sits on top of her throne, and basically brand, royal family, have basically, reap the rewards of, shall we say, white fucking supremacy, most fucking definitely and imperialism over the fucking years.
I said, "But it's your grandmother." He goes, "It's the Queen."
Wow.
And that was really the first moment that the penny dropped.
Oh my God. She never realized she was supposed to curtsy before the Queen? So that's, what a difficult, how difficult must that have been? To have to curtsy before the Queen of England?
Yeah, but the point is, Ben, she shouldn't have had to fucking do it, okay? Right? That's the point.
My God, how humiliating. Like every other human who curtsies before the Queen of England or bows before the Queen of England?
Ben, if we ever meet, I'm going to make sure that you actually have to, approach me on your stomach. Yeah, that's my new protocol. But, only for you, right? If we ever meet, you have to slither, slither over to me on the floor and lick my boot. Yeah. Yeah. You have to, because I am now Queen Sophia. Yeah. I rule over you. Yeah. By the way, folks, I'm joking. I wouldn't want to ever meet fucking Ben Shapiro. I mean, he's a cunt. He's a capo cunt.
Can't believe it. Just crazy. Crazy stuff. And that's when the penny dropped and she was about to learn of the predations of the royals. And by the way, it's not all on Meghan Markle. Harry's the actual villain of this piece. Okay, Harry grew up with these people, and now he's just dumping all over his entire family. Harry is a bag of garbage. Harry is terrible. Harry was Captain, I'm going to dress up however I want to dress up. I'm going to go to Las Vegas and get naked and smoke pot on the basis of my royal heritage. And then he's like...
Nothing wrong with smoking pot, but yeah, okay, there was those photos in the swimming pool. And weren't they meant to be Russian mafioso around that pool as well? Look, no one is denying that Harry hasn't acted like a complete and utter twat in the past, but as I said, people change, Ben. You know, love changes people. You know, you do know about love, don't you, Ben? You are married. I mean, who the fuck? I mean, actually, who could love Ben Shapiro? I know some people are going to say, well, this is all an act, and he's probably different in private. He probably is different in private. I mean, he's admitted that, hasn't he? Because he does all this transphobic ranting about how he won't address trans people publicly by their preferred pronouns, but he would do it in private. That's telling, isn't it? You know, people need to remember, and the trouble is that all the fucking stupid fucking redneck garbage who watch Ben Shapiro don't realise that, you know, the likes of Ben Shapiro and Alex Jones, it's just a fucking act, this, okay? That's what it is. It's just a fucking act. But, you know, that is dangerous, okay? They don't realise that, all right? And this is why, you know, you need the likes of me and Kevin Logan and Christy Winters, you know, to point the stuff out. And while I'm at it, please do go and subscribe to Kevin Logan's channel. He's always plugging my channel, so I think it's only right I plug his. Anyways, onwards.
Like, and you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to take my entire family. I'm just going to drive up this bus over them, back up the bus over them, because my wife, who wants to be a famous actress and wasn't very good in Suits, now she wants it. So I'm going to go right along. The real villain here is not even Meghan. Right? Meghan is whatever Meghan is. Harry is the one who's the villain. It's his family, right? So whatever I think of Meghan, I think twice as badly of Harry. Okay, so then Meghan Markle starts talking about how difficult. She starts talking about how racist everyone was. And she relates a conversation in which apparently somebody asked how dark her son's skin would be. Now, this would be an excellent time for Oprah, being the interviewer, to ask, okay, can you name a name? I mean, that would be, if someone says something as overtly racist as, how dark is your son's skin going to be? First of all, what kind of stupid...
Right, okay. I knew that this would come up. I remember mentioning this with Ozma on Monday, that because they didn't name names, this would, people would doubt who whether this was true. Well, I've just been through some of the shit which Prince Philip has said over the years. Okay, I perfectly, I fully believe Meghan Markle and what she said, considering the history of the likes of what Prince Philip have said. You know. And the thing is, shame on Ben Shapiro. You know, I mean, he complains about Prince Harry dressing up in a Nazi uniform, yet he doesn't complain about racism to a black woman. Well, why is that? Well, the reason being, obviously, people dressing up in Nazi uniforms is, offensive to Jews such as myself and Ben. But it's, but black women, being subjected to racist abuse. Well, that's, of course, Ben's not, black. He doesn't give a shit. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to call out racism, you have to be intersectional about it. You have to call out all fucking racism. Okay, as I do.
I'm just going to say it. I don't believe that happened. I don't think that happened. Honest to God.
No, of course you don't. Ben, when it comes to racism, Ben is see no racism, hear no racism. Unless it's racism which affects him.
I don't think it happened. The reason I don't think that happened is because no one says anything like that. That's a ridiculous question. How dark is your son's skin going to be? Beyond, the racism of it, the actual stupidity, the human stupidity of having to ask that question. Do you not know what biracial children look like? That's what? Okay, so I don't believe this for a second, but here she is saying a thing I don't plus maybe it's true and she's such a bad actress that I can't even tell that it's true. That's possible.
This is the Piers Morgan line that, she's an actress, so this was all an act. Fuck you, Ben. That is, bottom of the barrel. Really. You are scraping the bottom of the barrel. But hey, you're Ben Shapiro. You do that.
Possible too. Here is Meghan Markle.
In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What? Cut away to Oprah looking all shocked. Yeah.
Well, of course Oprah's going to be fucking shocked. She's black. Yeah? See, here again, because this is racism which doesn't affect you, Ben, you dismiss it and belittle it. Well, you belittle it and then dismiss it.
And of course she connects the fact that Harry, who is like 9th in line for the throne at this point, that Harry is not going to get the security and he's not going to get all this stuff.
Actually, no, he's, well, there's Prince Charles, and then there's William, and then there's Harry. Isn't that? I think that's so he's, what, 3rd in line now? Yeah. If that's the correct, I mean, I don't fucking know, but that's how I thought it worked. You know, Prince Charles and then his own sons. And William's older, so yeah, he would be the more in line for the throne than Harry. Anyways, whatever.
And again, I believe at this point they'd already decided they wanted to move to America. That was going to be the basis for. That was going to be the basis. It was all about skin color, of course. It was all about the racism.
Yet again, another. This is sick. Not in a good way. Not in that you know that sort of you know the sick as in that's cool. No, this is sick as in sickening. Okay.
Okay, so she continues along these lines, and then she says that she wanted to commit suicide, and the royal family would not get her the mental help that she required.
Yeah. And how dare you, Ben? You know, pour scorn on someone's suicidal-ation, I think it's called. You know, in this day and age when there has been so many campaigns about mental health, you know, the fact that you still have people like you belittling people's mental health issues, it's fucking disgusting.
Okay, now, again, I don't know the truth.
You know, rich people also suffer from mental health problems. That's what you don't understand, right? You know, I always remember Anthony Bourdain. You know, obviously Anthony Bourdain didn't make it big until later in life, but you know, by the end he was a pretty wealthy guy, yet and had a seemed to have a lovely wife and he had a kid he very much loved. Yet because of depression he ended up committing suicide. Yeah, just remind you of that story.
Truth or falsehood of any of these statements. I do know that once you claim that you were suicidal, that you had suicidal ideation, then people generally should not question that. So I will assume that this is true. I also will assume that I have no idea what anybody else did around her because I don't think that she's a credible source about anything other than her own feelings. I think most people are credible sources on their own feelings, but people tend not to be credible sources when their self-interest is at stake. Here's Meghan Markle then trying to impute to the royal family a lack of care for her suicidal ideation, which is a hell of an accusation to make.
Look, I was really ashamed to say it at the time, and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, especially, because I know how much loss he's suffered. Mm-hmm. But I knew that if I didn't say it, that I would do it, and I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
Okay, and then what she says is that she went to the institution and they were like, you can't get outside help because if you get outside help, then that is going to become a story in and of itself. Well, okay, first of all, Meghan Markle was a story from like the day that she joined the royal family.
Yeah, and she's had nothing but negative fucking press from the British tabloids. Also, this is not the first time this has happened with the royals. Let's remember the treatment Princess Di got from the royals for having mental health issues. Yeah, Harry's mum. Yeah, and that's going to have an effect on Harry, right? The fact that, Princess Di, I mean, obviously she had eating disorder issues. That's a mental health problem. And wasn't there that incident when she tried to throw herself down a flight of stairs? The royal family really still haven't adopted to, the modern world, have they? And unless we're upfront about our mental health issues, and I've had mental health issues, there's that statistic: 4 in 10 trans people have tried to commit suicide. Well, I'm one of those 4 in 10 people. I have, I'll admit, I have had mental health problems. I still struggle with depression, clinical depression sometimes, and it could be, really, really bad. People need to start talking about this, and for it not to be a taboo, and not for people to be judged as, weak for talking about this sort of stuff.
Family, because she started lecturing everybody inside the palace about race. I mean, she was in the tabloids every single day.
Lecturing the palace about race. Well, considering she's black and they're a bunch of white privileged, people, I think that she actually, has a right to do that. Okay?
So that's number one. Number two, if you think there aren't healthcare workers on staff at the palace, I have doubts. We'll get to more on this in just 1 second. First, let us talk about a simple truth. A lot is happening at the same time. Door and Ring.com. At a certain point, Oprah actually asked Meghan if she left the royal family to brand build. And Meghan is like, no. Of course not. Here she was.
There are even stories that you knew all along that this was going to happen. You went through the whole process, and it was all intentional to build your brand.
Can you imagine how little sense that makes?
No. The point is, it's actually the royal family who are worried about their brand. When it comes to Meghan Markle. Okay, that's the point.
I left my career, my life. I left everything because I love him.
Yeah, and she did. And I would also remind Ben that actually the question he should be asking about is Harry. The fact is that Harry has given up an awful lot because he loves Meghan, right? He's given, because the whole thing with the royal family is you have a duty to the family. As I said, it's a bit like the fucking mafioso. It fucking is. But he's given up, all that privilege which the royal family would have given him, because he loves Meghan. They really are in love, right? And this is what people do when they're in love, okay?
Right.
But you see, Ben Shapiro, displays that he knows nothing about love. I mean, he is a fucking conservative, and most conservatives are inconsiderate fucking sociopaths, so,
And our plan was to do this forever. Our plan for me, I wrote letters to his family when I got there saying, I am dedicated to this. I'm here for you. Use me as you'd like. There was no guidance as well.
Yeah, the thing is, the royal family could have used Meghan Markle as a means of modernizing the family to show that they could be more in touch with a more diverse society, but they didn't, did they? Which tells you a lot about the royal family and the fact that they're racist.
Right? Mm-hmm. There were certain things that you couldn't do, but unlike what you see in the movies, there's no class on how to speak, how to cross your legs, how to be royal. There's none of that training. That might exist for other members of the family. That was not something that was offered.
Okay. The beginning part of that. That's hysterically funny. I'm sorry. That's just from any angle. That is super funny. So Oprah's like, so did you join the royal family and then you knew that you were going to build your career that way? And she's like, can you imagine? I left my career as a second-rate actress in a third-tier part on Suits to be a princess, and somebody would suggest that I did that for career purposes?
This is the most bottom of the barrel. That she married, she married into the royal family to gain privilege. Fuck you, Ben. I'm not denying that hasn't happened in the past, but it's obvious to me that that's not the case here. Okay, and that is really, I said that he was scraping the bottom of the barrel before. No, he really is, even scraping the bottom of the bottom of the barrel now.
Purposes? No, I did it because I love this dumbass over here. Because I love the guy sitting next to me.
Yeah, she does. Is that so far-fetched for you that people actually love one another? Are you that sociopathic, Ben?
Me. This guy. Right here. Prince Harry, Captain Lovable. Love that guy. I mean, I left a job on Suits. On Suits. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Christ, Ben is pulling that awful fucking face. Yeah, the turkey basting face he did for that Thanksgiving photo. Oh, God. Fuck this. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm sure it was all pure love. Listen, maybe they love each other. That's fine. Sure. All right. Sure. I'm sure career had nothing to do with that. I'm sorry. I left my job on Suits, and you're suggesting that maybe becoming a princess was a career move? A little.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, this is the... Yeah. This is worse than Piers Morgan. On par with Piers Morgan. Anyways, now normally I don't I wouldn't show anything from Britain versus website, but they are so fucking stupid. They put up a petition to strip the Meghan and Harry of their titles, which I think is already haven't they already stripped themselves of those titles? I don't fucking know. But anyways, some of the responses, the thing is, right, that you can actually sign this petition using fake names and fake emails. And some of the responses have actually been, well, some of them have been very racist. Obviously, this is Britain First, who, to explain to America, are sort of a pseudo-paramilitary sort of political terrorist group on the far right here. Who seem to be happier that that the royal family have a pedo amongst their midst, Prince Andrew, than having a black princess, which tells you everything about Britain First, doesn't it? Anyways, some of the more fake responses to this are actually quite funny. Paul, of course, the Britain First is led by this guy called Paul Golding, and well, this is quite funny. Paul, I suck dog cocks. Golding, woman beater. He is a woman beater. He is. I am really. I'm a really sad sack of shit, as my mum and as his mum, and no good deadbeat prick of a brother Jamie. We have to share the teeth brain cells. I also beat co-leader Jada for 5 years. He did. Yeah, Jada Franson. I don't. Jada Franson, who's just as bad as Paul when it comes to the old racism. But I did feel sorry for the fact that she was in essentially an abusive relationship with Paul. And there has been a whole documentary made about that by BBC Northern Ireland, where they both happen to live. So, anyways, the showing the teeth and the brain cells. If you've ever seen a picture of Paul Golding and his mum, you kind of think, is his mum also his sister? There's another one further down I saw. Here we are. Yeah, angry Cameron. My brain cell exploded at the thought of their wedding. Now all I can do is cry into my cheap Wetherspoon's piss in a pint glass and wank over my British bulldog to get my rocks off. I need help. P.S. Jada, please send me a picture of your face so I can make a password. That is actually quite funny. Pissborn. I for one am enraged that the son of Jimmy Savile's friend and nephew of Epstein's friend would dare to go on telly back to years of abuse from the media. It's a disgrace. Jada Franson, and I think actually this probably is actually Jada Franson herself. Please keep it civil and honest so that so many fake messages. Well, you set up a fucking petition where people could do this. Meanwhile, you're that fucking stupid. I mean, they are fucking, I mean, they've appeared doing protests with fucking, I mean, look, I'm dyslexic, okay, but like you kind of think they're gonna hold fucking placards and fucking banners. There would be some proofreading going on, but they've appeared, doing protests with banners and placards, where there's some pretty atrocious fucking spelling mistakes. I mean, not everybody involved with Britain First can be that bad when it comes to reading and grammar and shit, or can they? There's sorry, that's it's moved to number 3. So I checked this earlier. There's another one. I'm trying to find it unless it's been taken down. Tommy Robertson, I want my Coke. And also, Nigel Wanksock Farage, I made a terrible mistake. Please consider joining my new party. We love the EU. Our main objective is to get Blighty back where it belongs, in the bosom of the European Union. I mean, they opened the door. They let this happen. I'm just going to take the fucking piss. Of course, they're big far right fucking fundamentalists. They don't have a fucking sense of humour at all, unless of course it's taking the piss out of minorities. Anyways, I was actually in shock today when I read this. Keir Starmer demands Boris Johnson act on LGBT plus blind spot and confirms Labour's position on conversion therapy ban. Wow! Keir Starmer's actually developed a spine. Bloody hell! What's happened? Huh? This really is. This is a revelation. Keir Starmer accused Conservatives of having a blind spot on LGBT plus issues, including the conversion therapy ban delay, after several government advisors resigned over Tory hostilities towards LGBT plus people. 3 members of the government's LGBT advisory panel have quit over the last 2 days. Yeah, and this has reached mainstream news. I mean, it was in the Guardian. So it's not just been in the LGBTQ press. So and of course, I hate to say this, but Keir Starmer obviously looking for any opportunity to score points against the Tories without actually having to stand up to them about their mishandling of the COVID response to the COVID-19 pandemic, is going to use this. But I will say this: he was actually quite vague in what he said. What I mean by that, he still hasn't seemed to taken a stance when it comes to trans rights and supporting trans people, which he needs to fucking do, and he needs to, get serious in disciplining Rosie Duffield, who's the Labour MP who sat on the fucking Labour parliamentary benches barking some pretty hideously right transphobic bullshit. The lack of engagement, coupled with the rhetoric used in ministerial statement, leaves me with no confidence that the UK government wishes to protect the existing quality of life and human rights of LGBT plus people, wrote advisor James Morton in a damning resignation letter. Well, yeah. Starmer addressed the growing scandal as Labour campaign launched on Thursday yesterday, where he pointed a pattern of behaviour from Boris Johnson's administration. The government has clearly got a blind spot here, he said. It's got a problem and the Prime Minister needs to address it, not least because it's a pattern of behaviour. Labour's Shadow Equalities Secretary added the voice to mounting criticism. You see, this is the thing. Starmer has basically joined the bandwagon, as I said, as a politically opportune. It's political opportunism, and to be fair to certain Tory MPs, including Bernard Jenkins, they have been, and I mean, of all Tory MPs, Bernard Jenkins, someone on the hard right, basically calling out the government for its lack of action when it comes to banning conversion therapy. It's taken Starmer an awful lot of time to basically, come out and say stuff. And, I know some people say, well, aren't you glad that he has come out and against conversion? Yeah, of course I am. But that was always going to be the case. Come out against conversion therapy, as in he wants to, Labour support banning conversion therapy. Of course, but he's taken his time, and that is a worry, when it comes to various issues. I know that the excuse given is, oh well, we need to take our time to review the fucking information, blah de blah de blah de blah. I think it's pretty fucking simple on conversion therapy. Okay, 99.9% of people, there is obviously a very small minority of people who are in favour of it, which we'll get onto. But generally, just about everybody is calling for conversion therapy to be banned. Let's see. Keir Starmer described the so-called conversion therapy as abhorrent. It is, and stated that Labour would enact to ban it in law. Yeah, okay, good. Unless the Tories actually do, get a grip and do it, we're 100% against it. Yeah. But are you 100% in favour of supporting trans people? That's the question we have to ask. Because conversion therapy is one thing. Supporting trans people is another. And if you're gonna, start getting on the, we support LGBTQ people bandwagon, Starmer, you're gonna have to support the whole of the LGBTQ community, and that means trans people. So I have to add that. Good. I mean, it's a step in the right direction for Starmer, and I was shocked. I actually genuinely, when I saw this headline, I'm not being sarcastic. I genuinely was shocked because he's been so fucking wishy-washy, in the last year when it comes to LGBTQ issues, right? Particularly trans rights, that I thought, what? I literally did. And that's a really sad indictment of Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party. The Labour Party, the party of equality and social justice, who, I would imagine the vast majority of the LGBTQ community look to speak up for their concerns. As I say, not every politician is in favour of banning conversion therapy. This fucking... we have to deal with the Sammy Williamson. let me explain something to those outside the UK. The DUP, there's this province but basically the island of Ireland is split into two. You have the Republic of Ireland in the south, which is a separate country, and Northern Ireland, or Ulster, is still part of the United Kingdom. Supposedly, they have an assembly, but it's always seems permanently fucking suspended because, political bollocks, infighting and whatever else. Though weirdly, something good actually came of the fact that direct rule from Westminster kind of has returned. Anyways, So, basically the DUP, the Democratic Ulster Party, or as I like to call them, the Ulster Bigoted Party! Because they are. They're just a bunch of... first off, they're fucking sectarian fucking bigots, Protestantism. And believe me, they are, people say, they will allow Catholics to drive. Yeah, but it's their language towards the Catholic community. For instance, I remember watching a Question Time a few years ago, and this is how... why church and state being intertwined in this country is not such a good idea. Basically, you had some... I forgot the name of the MP. I remember he was quite big. That's all I remember. He was from the DUP, and basically they were talking about education on BBC Question Time, the panel show, every Thursday, and it was being held in Northern Ireland. And he was referring to Protestant schools as state schools, in other words, giving them some legitimacy because they're state schools, right? And referring to Catholic schools as Catholic schools. Basically, if you get the inference here being that, he was trying to make out that because, Protestant schools are state schools, that they're more legitimate. Anyways, that's one reason. And of course, that's just a slight reason, considering the amount of fucking people who have been killed because of sectarian bullshit in Northern Ireland, and also the Republic of Ireland, let's not forget, and also the west of Scotland. There have been murders in the western side of Scotland due to sectarianism. There was someone was stabbed for wearing a Celtic shirt. And of course, basically all the extremist Ulster fucking loyalist fascist fuckwits wanted to actually have this person who, is basically a bigot. A bigot, someone stabbing someone for wearing a shirt of a football team they don't like. Hold on a second, I have to take a phone call. That was bound to happen, weren't you? And the person who rang me should know better, actually, because they actually helped me promote this show. God. Anyways, so Sammy Williamson, who has a history of homophobia, which we will get to, is facing criticism from Northern Ireland's LGBT plus community after he appeared to express opposition to a ban on conversion therapy. Yeah, you see, the Protestants in Northern Ireland are really extreme Protestants. In fact, it's hilarious that they criticise the Catholic Church, yet in some ways the Protestants in Northern Ireland are more Catholic than Catholic in some of the stances about abortion and LGBT plus rights and the rights of women. I'm not kidding. I mean, I thought that the whole thing with splitting with the. I mean, okay, the original reason why, you know, the Church of England was founded was because, you know, Henry VIII was, you know, a horny fucker. But you know, there was actually a move. People need to remember this. There was a move at that period, you know, Martin Luther and all that, to make to have you know, the establishment of the Protestant Church as a means of bringing it closer to the people. And there were people who wanted, you know, religion to encompass more humanist type thinking, right? Yeah, as I say, the Protestants in Northern Ireland don't seem to have got that message, even though it's, you know, I mean, you know, the Church of England, to give it its credit, and I don't give organised religion credit much, has adapted over the years. Sure, they still have a ban on same-sex marriage, but you do get the feeling that Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, had his way, he would actually have, you know, the Church of England, you know, basically doing same-sex marriage. So, this guy, as I say, has a history of homophobia, and it's pretty repulsive homophobia. Yeah, he refuses to support World's AIDS Day because HIV is a result of lifestyle choices. In other words, he still believes AIDS is gay cancer. Tell all the heterosexual people in Africa about that, huh? Yeah, who've got AIDS and HIV. You fucking bigot. You know? I mean, these are just out and out bigots. I really feel sorry for people who are LGBT plus in Northern Ireland. You know, I mean, I've been to Northern Ireland, and, you know, I mean, I went before I came out as trans. And, you know, obviously I sort of frequented, shall we say, Catholic areas. So, but I had a really good time. I did. And, you know, I got very, very drunk. But the other thing is, the fence sitters all goes, oh yeah, well, the Catholics are just as bad. And when it comes to the LGBT plus community, no. Sinn Féin have support LGBTQ equality. In fact, a friend of mine who runs the Wipeout Transphobia campaign actually got Martin McGuinness, when he was alive, to hold up a banner and took a photo of supporting trans rights. Yeah. So more and more, really, you know, in Northern Ireland, yeah, it's, you know, there is this still sort of this relationship between religion and politics, and, you know, if you're Protestant, you're not going to vote for Sinn Féin, right? You're going to vote for the DUP or the UUP if they still exist. You know, and it's really sad, right, that people can't see past that and see actually the policies which are being, you know, proposed, right, in Northern Ireland. And what I'm talking about is this: the DUP and the UUP, who obviously have represented the Protestant community, right, have always aligned themselves with the Tories. In fact, the UUP, the Ulster Unionist Party, actually used to be part of the Conservative Party. That's why, you know, you sometimes will hear, particularly in Scotland, when at a count, you know, you would always have the candidate, you know, I don't know, Smively, Butler, whatever, you know, of the Conservative and Unionist Party, right? So, but I always thought, well, what if you're a working class Protestant who, you know, needs, you know, needs stuff like the welfare state and a good, you know, healthcare system and, you know, educational opportunities, right? You're going to be fucked constantly. Now, the DUP are slightly different from the UUP in that if you actually read the DUP's manifestos on social policy, they are uber conservative, right? I mean, they still support the death penalty. You know, they want abortion banned and stuff like that. However, if you read the economic stuff from the DUP, it's actually quite left-wing. For instance, they opposed student loans. Yeah. So, it's a bit of a weird thing. Now, obviously, this is because they appeal to the working classes in Northern Ireland, and this is how they appeal to the working classes. But I still think aligning yourself with the Conservatives, you're not going to get the economic stuff which you want. Sure, you'll get the social. You will get some of the social conservative stuff, but you won't get all of it, because even the Conservatives have now, shall we say, become a little bit more socially liberal in. But anyways, I'm waffling on here. I have a lot to say about Northern Ireland. And obviously people will go, you're biased, you support United. Yeah, I am biased. I do support United Ireland. You're right. But I certainly don't support it with the use of fucking terrorism, okay? Can I just make that very, very, very clear? I understand the anger of the Catholic community and what drove them into using terrorism. Sorry, not the whole of the Catholic community. What some in the Catholic community, why they were driven into committing terrorist acts. But that's not an excuse for terrorism ever, all right? It's self-fucking defeating, all right? The only time I ever supported terrorism, as in violence to achieve a political end, was in South Africa, because at the time there was no democratic means for black people who are campaigning for multiracial democracy to put that point. They were perpetually persecuted for doing so. So it's not like I always will say no to terrorism, but it has to be pretty unique. Okay, I certainly didn't support it in Northern Ireland, and no one should. Anyways, so this is so that's Sammy Williamson, who is a bigoted fuck from the Democratic bigoted party from Ulster. Well, this is Owen Jones interviewing Arlene Foster about same-sex marriage from 2018. Yeah, it's a little out of date, but it does show you the attitude, all right?
Gay people fall in love just like straight people.
They do, that's right.
Don't you think they should have the right to express their love for their partners, just in the way you have the right to express your love by getting married?
They do have the right to express their love. Nobody's talking about anybody not being able to love another person. Of course
No, to get married.
Well, I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Right, basically, you're a homophobic bigot. Arlene Foster, homophobic bigot. First Minister of Northern Ireland. Yeah, I'm actually quite good at doing the Northern Irish accent, so that's why I do it. Yeah, I actually can do it Ian Paisley. Never, 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 no surrender. Well, some people will know that what's a reference to. Actually, someone from Northern Ireland, actually, when I did that at one time, they said, actually, if you know, because it was from a speech in 1984, right, in Belfast, and they said, if you notice very closely, he actually said never 4 times, not 3. Well, I didn't notice, but that's what everyone remembers. Anyways.
Most people in Northern Ireland disagree with you.
Could well be the case.
So why defy the majority of Northern Ireland by refusing to allow gay people to have the same civil rights as straight people?
Okay, so here's the deal, right? Basically, shit, sorry. I'm getting fucking messages. Fuck off. I can't do it at the moment. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting distracted by... where were we? Oh, yes. Basically, Arlene Foster and the DUP consider themselves to be British, right? So my argument is this, right? If they consider themselves British, then follow fucking British laws. And the fact that, same-sex marriage was legal just about, at this point, just about everywhere in the UK, other than Northern Ireland. You want to be British? You follow the law. Follow British laws. British. Allow LGBT plus people in Northern Ireland to have the same rights as they have everywhere else in the United Kingdom.
Well, Owen, as you know, this is a matter for the Assembly. If the Assembly was back, and I want the Assembly back as quickly as possible, I'm quite sure it will come to the floor of the Assembly, and then I think people should wait and see, because of course the composition of the Assembly has changed since the last time, and the petition of concern is no longer available to us as a party, because we don't have the 30 members, because as you know, the Assembly shrunk from 108 members to 90 members, and therefore I think we need to allow the Assembly to have its space to debate this.
So now do you regret the fact the DUP wouldn't be able to veto it in that case?
I don't regret the fact that the DUP wouldn't be able to veto it. I'm just simply saying the reality is...
I bet she actually does regret that they weren't able to veto it,
It's for the Assembly to decide, and when the Assembly comes back, which I hope is very, very soon, this is an issue which I'm sure will come to the floor.
Is there any way finally the DUP can just change its mind and be on the right side of history? Because this...
Yeah, it's any way the DUP could... Yeah, I don't know. Get out of the 18th century. Or is it the 19th century? Yeah, we're in the 21st century, my darling. Women are actually allowed to wear skirts. Above the knee. Actually, people are going to go, oh, what the fuck? Go and check out a satirical radio show called Dead Ringers. On Radio 4. Basically, they were making out that Eileen Foster was like this really prudish Puritan who seems to think that if women wear skirts above their ankles, then they're some sort of hussy.
This is going to happen, equal marriage, and history judges all of this. Don't you think you should go down the history as somebody who confronted your own party and said, let gay people have the right to get married and share their love just as I do?
I think, Owen, the important thing is, as a politician, you have to have principles, and if you believe in something...
You have to have principles, and you believe in something. Well, you believe that there's this crusty old book which says LGBTQ people are bad, which actually that crusty old book doesn't actually say, but never mind. It's just an interpretation. And you believe this crusty old book is the word of some mystical sky daddy who doesn't actually fucking exist. You see, this is the argument against LGBTQ equality. Because your mystical, non-existing sky daddy says so. Opposes it. No, you oppose it because you're a fucking bigot. Stop using religion. Religion should never be a fucking excuse for homophobia, or transphobia, or any other form of anti-LGBTQ bigotry.
I think you should be allowed to articulate
that
that
principle,
view.
not for gay people to get married.
No,
not a principle.
Oh, you should be allowed to articulate that you think that LGBTQ people should be burned at the stake because they're possessed by demonic forces. Bloody fucking blah. No. Anyways, as it goes, last year, same-sex marriage became legal in Northern Ireland. Now, this was due to a technicality. Essentially, because the Northern Irish Assembly weren't sitting, there was a direct rule from Westminster, and so there was a bill to do something to do with Northern Ireland, basically to do with here we are, the Northern Irish Executive Formation Northern Ireland Executive Formation, etc. Act 2019. Right, an amendment was put on it by Labour MP Conor McGinn, saying that the government had to legislate for same-sex marriage in Northern Ireland. So yeah, and so there was a vote in Parliament. I remember writing about it, and I don't think there was that much opposition to it. Obviously, there would be from the DUP because they're the Ulster bigoted party. And well, so because the Assembly weren't sitting, Westminster said, gays and lesbians and bi people had the same, and trans people, of course, had the same, should have the same marriage rights in Northern Ireland as any other person living in Northern Ireland. Ha 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 ha. I mean, it's sad because I would prefer that if the Northern Irish Assembly were actually sitting. I do believe in devolved power, right? I do think it actually serves people far better. But this is a consequence. If this was a positive consequence of direct rule, and well, yeah. So Arlene Foster didn't get away. Ha 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 ha. Anyways. Talking about stuff happening around the country, so Scotland have the Scottish Parliament have approved. They've passed a hate crime bill, and well, I'm trying to find it because there were basically certain I'm trying to find the actual line. I did spot it here. And let me tell you. I'll just tell you. Basically, so some people said they were raising concerns about the impact upon free speech. Now, anytime you see this in regards to hate crime legislation, which is actually going to protect trans people, what that really means is, we can't be nasty to trans people anymore, right? Now, from what I know, that this bill has actually been watered down somewhat from its original intent, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Okay, so for trans people in Scotland, this could be a good move for them. Right, moving on to Wales. Hold on, no. Oh yeah, here we are. So I know Plaid Cymru because I actually have a trans friend who's a member of Plaid Cymru and does a lot of good work for the trans community. This is what makes me angry every time I hear Blaire White or Rosa Dawn, always say trans activists with such scorn. They don't actually know what a lot of trans activists do, which is actually going out in the community and educate people about trans issues, right? And my friend Kate does that, right? And she people like Rosa Dawn, are always being nasty about trans activists. Well, it's trans activists who go out and can educate and campaign for the rights which Rosa Dawn actually fucking or India Willoughby benefit from. So a politician apologised to the trans community for causing pain and hurt over her actions on social media. Yeah, she was tweeting content which was transphobic, and she closed her account. The thing I like about this is that the candidate, as it's saying here, the candidate for I can't pronounce that. Sorry, I'll have to put the reader on.
The candidate for Llanelli in Mid and West Wales said she would be undertaking a relevant awareness training from an external organisation.
Now, that's some good news here, okay? Because usually, either TERFs and transphobes, they get turfed off, they get thrown off Twitter, right, for being transphobic bigots who harass trans people. And they never apologise, they're like Piers Morgan, they're adamant they're right, of course. But at least this politician seems to admitted that she got it wrong. Now, okay, that might be because, there's votes in it and there are, Welsh parliamentary elections as there are Scottish parliamentary elections coming up in May. So, yeah. Now, basically, this is good. It's bad that she was tweeting transphobic content, but it's good that she seems to want to mend her ways. it seems on the surface. I mean, you could be very cynical and say, of course she's going to say that. Well, yeah, we'll see. Okay. Anyways, so the census, yes. I did report on this that there was going to be. You see, past tense here. Yeah, I hate to say this. We've had a bit of a setback. People over the age of 16 can tick yes or no to specify their gender identity. So basically, the original idea was that you could tick your gender identity if it differs from what's on your birth certificate, right? However, High Court has ordered the Office of National Statistics to amend the 2021 census guidance on the question, what is your sex, after a challenge by anti-trans group Fair Play for Women. Fair Play for Women, a women's group set up to campaign against the Gender Recognition Act reform, began crowdfunding last month to raise money for a legal challenge against the Office of National Statistics, which runs the census. The group raised £100,000. I remember the days when we used to, raise funds in the defence of the rights of oppressed minorities. Now it seems to be we raise money. People are raising money to take the rights of oppressed minorities away. I mean, this is the fuck up of a country we now seem to be living in, particularly when it comes to trans people. This year and then once in a decade, UK census will, for the first time, collect information on LGBT plus demographics by asking brand new voluntary questions about sexual orientation and gender identity. A mandatory question on sex remains, as it has done for more than 200 years, requiring an answer of male or female. Guidance accompanying the sex question was that to read if you are considering how to answer, use the sex recorded. I'm going to put the reader on. Sorry. Yeah, this is what I'll do from now on. If I'm struggling, I'll put the reader on. Oh, come on. Thank you.
A mandatory question on sex remains, as it has done for more than 200 years, requiring an answer of male or female. Guidance accompanying the sex question was to read, if you are considering how to answer, use the sex recorded on one of your legal documents such as a birth certificate, gender recognition certificate, or passport.
Now.
But Fair Play for Women claimed that by allowing census takers to answer with their sex as it is displayed on their passport or other documents, the ONS had decided it can redefine sex to include self-declared gender identity. A High Court judge sided with the group Tuesday, the 8th of March, ordering the ONS to remove such as in passport from its guidance.
I have to say, you really have to be the most militant transphobic bigot to get hung up about this fucking question on the fucking census. I mean, this should be telling to people, right? They have spent $100,000 on a question which allows trans people to express their identity on a fucking form. I mean, fuck's sake, yeah. This is the kind of people who the press are giving a fucking platform to. Yeah, these are bigots in the fucking extreme. I mean, you don't give the fucking Ku Klux Klan a fucking platform, do you? I mean, okay, maybe Fox News might, or Newsmax, but generally when it comes to the fucking press, in the US and here, you don't give fucking extreme racists, a platform, right? But they were prepared to give fucking TERFs a fucking, platform, despite the fact that the TERFs like the Ku Klux Klan, believe in cis supremacy. You know, well, sorry, what I was meant to say is TERFs are the equivalent to the Ku Klux Klan, because just as the Ku Klux Klan, you know, support white supremacy, TERFs support cis supremacy. It's the same thing. It's saying that cis people, you know, should have all the rights, and trans people should have fuck all. No. It's just utter fucking hate. Day in, day out, I have to fucking put up with this. You know, I actually got my census thingy today, you know. But I'm going to take the Paris Lee's, stance on this. Yeah, there is this is Paris Lee's, obviously a well-known trans writer, and someone I owe a massive apology to, and I will get around to doing that next week. But for now, this is what she tweeted in response to the story, the response to this story, which is basically that story, but by the BBC. So, you know, it'll have a transphobic bias, unfortunately. There's currently a campaign to try and force people like me to write male when I fill in the census. I want to be clear to the people behind this campaign. I won't comply. I suspect I'm not the only one. I won't submit to your attempts to control me. Paris, you know, I'm fully with you here, hon. I fully am. I'm female. That's what I'm going to put on the census for. And fuck the TERFs, is what I say. Fuck transphobia. You know, I am a woman. You know, that I have always identified as a woman, and and I always will. Yeah, so we need to talk about this. So last weekend, I logged on to Twitter, as I do, and basically started seeing this super straight, hashtag super straight trend, and immediately I knew that this was another attempt of transphobia. Basically, super straight, the new transphobic trend that claims refusing to date trans people is a sexual orientation. Might have been a handiwork of neo-Nazis. Well, what I do know is it came from 4chan. Like QAnon. That's where QAnon came from. It's the same fucking place. Basically, it's there was this TikTok video which we will. So, yeah, there are links to neo-Nazis with this. It doesn't fucking surprise me, as there were links to the far right and neo-Nazis with the whole. You remember the straight pride thingy in Boston, which, if I remember rightly, wasn't the counter protest to that by LGBTQ people larger? Anyways, just as Ben Shapiro sees no racism, hears no racism, Blaire White, she, is an enabler for transphobes. Yeah, we're going to have to react to this one.
Straight. I only date the opposite gender, women, that are born women. So you can't say I'm transphobic now because that's just my sexuality.
Yeah, but how would you know? Because a lot of trans women, right, have past, you won't be able to tell. Particularly if a trans woman has had surgery and hormone treatment and surgery at a very young age. Yeah, like in her teens, you won't be able to fucking tell, mate. So, you are a bigot. That's what you are. Being a bigot is not a fucking, sexual orientation, okay?
So
if you're heterosexual and you're a man and you said you wouldn't date a trans woman because it's a preference, that's just transphobia, period.
The reason that we're so pissed off about this trend is because it's definitely to make fun of us.
Hey guys, welcome back to my main channel. So the girls are mad.
She's been sunbathing. Look. Yeah, looks like a porcupine. Nice dress though. I do like that dress. I do actually. The whole the lace thingy there. Yeah, I like that. You know, not. That's for the room. Yeah, it's very sparkly. It's very feminine. I can't deny it. You know, but here's the thing with Blaire White. She's, you know, pretty on the outside, but fucking ugly, rotten to the fucking core on the inside.
The girls are fighting, the girls are battling. There is a new sexuality, because of course there always is. Going viral online, getting a lot of popularity and traction, and new people identifying as it, and it is called super straight. So super straight is pretty much exactly as it sounds. It is super straight people. It is people who do not have any attraction to or date trans people. So clearly this is going to be a war. This all started on TikTok, which, follow me on TikTok, by the way. I am on TikTok, unfortunately. So it's only right that we show the video that started it. Here we go.
Yo guys, I made a new sexuality now, actually. It's called super straight.
No, you just came out of the closet as a fucking bigot. That's what you did.
Okay? Since straight people or straight men as myself, I get called transphobic because I wouldn't date a trans woman. You know, they're like, would you date a trans woman? I'm like, no, why? That's a female.
As I said, there are a lot of trans women who have had, you know, treatment early in life. You wouldn't fucking know, mate. Yeah. And don't tell me if you found out you would use the trans panic defense, would you? You set up for that? I bet Blaire would defend the trans panic debate.
No, like, that's not a real woman to me. Like, I want a real woman. No, you're just transphobic. So now, I'm super straight. I only date the opposite gender, women, that are born women. So you can't say I'm transphobic now.
Well, you are transphobic, and I'm glad to know that you're transphobic, to point out to people that you are transphobic. Yeah? Anyone who starts going, I'm super straight, you know, bigot. They are. It's as simple as that.
It's just my sexuality, you know?
So this video has amassed millions and millions of views and a ton of responses and has started an entire movement. Apparently they also have their own flag, which I do have to say, you know, I respect the super straights. Like, I'm not super phobic, but I will say those...
Super phobic. She respects the super straight. Of course she's going to. I mean, she's funded by the Heritage Foundation. You know, and, well, I have to ask... Blaire, which Koch brothers cock did you have to suck? The one who's alive or the one who's dead? Because the Heritage Foundation, of course, are bankrolled by the Koch Foundation. In other words, the Koch brothers, or the Ron Romanin Koch brother. And her job is to constantly undermine the LGBT fucking community, muddy the fucking waters, and whatever the fuck else. You know, you can't bring yourself around to actually, you know, speak up for what actually is in your own best fucking interest, are you? Because you see fucking dollar signs provided by the fucking Koch brothers. I mean, you know, what was it? Come on, my darling. You know, if you suck my cock, you will be wealthy beyond the dreams of avarice. Was it that case, Blaire? Anyways, it has to do with the super straight flag.
Those are the colors of Grindr,
which is true.
Gay dating app. So, you know, I do suggest a rebrand on the flag. So while this clearly started out as a meme and as a joke, it has revealed a lot about the...
It's revealed a lot about, you know, how, you know, heteronormative, cisnormative fucking people are bigots. Next.
Woke side of the LGBT...
Oh, no, yeah, of course. You know, those the super straight bigoted fuckwits are, you know, persecuting. They're the real villains in all this. Is it? We're the bad guys, are we? You know, for being persecuted. Is that it? You know, Blaire. God, you really are the fucking bottom of the fucking... Yeah, I thought Ben Shapiro was the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the barrel. Well, you are below that, you know? You are an absolute capo fucking cunt. You really are. True scum to the fucking core.
LGBT community, a lot of people are really showing their hands and reacting to it as if it wasn't a joke, and now it's kind of become something that isn't even a joke, and now it's serious. It's just... That's the beauty of memes, really. Like, it can start as a meme and then suddenly it's real life. When memes become real life, it has made a lot of people in the trans community and the LGBT community very mad.
The reason that we're so pissed off about this trend is because it's definitely to make fun of us. It's not to be a legitimate thing. The reason that they're saying super straight and making it like a flag and all that stuff is to make us upset. Now onto the legitimacy of that attraction thing. What is the thing that identifies a trans woman over a regular woman? Name something.
And apparently the originator of super straight has been getting a ton of death threats from actors.
Have you got any proof of this, Blaire? You know, we can't trust the fucking word you say after the shit you pulled with Janine Marie Kroc. And let's remember, that wasn't the first time you'd done something like that, you know? You know, Debbie Jackson, that was another one that you victimised and didn't actually, you know, tell the truth about, huh? Yeah. You know, you know, proof, as in the whole fucking post, not just part of it, which, you know, supports your fucking argument, yeah?
Activist and his mother's business is being threatened with fake reviews, just bombarded. And I'm just really confused because why would the community of love and acceptance and that believes in not shaming people for their sexuality be sending death threats?
Well, people are getting angry because this is a deliberate attempt to basically, you know, marginalise a marginalised community even more, okay? To victimise and persecute, you know, people. That's what, when that happens, people get fucking angry, you know. I can understand it. I'm not condoning if there have been any death threats to the person who originated the super straight bullshit. But, you know, I understand why. You don't seem to, you know, Blaire. You know, even though you are LGBTQ, you know.
That's weird. To all the people who are super straight, remember, you are transphobic. You
Yep.
are desperate for attention.
Yep.
You aren't part of the LGBTQ
Yep.
plus community. You are making a mockery
Yep.
of the LGBTQ plus community. You aren't oppressed. Just out with it and say you're transphobic.
Yep.
So I think what makes this troll so effective is that it has really lured people into reacting to it as if it's real, and now it kind of is. And the fact that people are upset over this new sexuality being created is a little hypocritical coming from the folks who created abrosexual, demisexual, gerontosexual, gynosexual, intrasexual, callosexual, multisexual, pomosexual, sapiosexual, and literally hundreds more.
Right. Blaire, I know you're stupid. Okay, so let me try and explain this to you. All those sexualities you just listed didn't, right, exclude or victimize various groups in society. Okay? They weren't set up to do that. Okay? Straight, you know, super straight was. Okay? You're taking the fence-sitting, fucking absolute logical bullshit argument again. No. You know, it's like, well, if one side can do this, then the other side can do it, you know, on face value. But when you delve deeper, no, that's not the truth, is it? But hey, you don't know about truth. All you ever do is spout fucking bullshit lies.
More. I am not exaggerating. There are hundreds. And like, even though super straight is a joke, the irony is that is a lot more valid than a lot of those I just listed. Actually, all of them.
Fuck you. No, it's not. It's not fucking valid at all. Bigotry's never valid.
Y'all are releasing new sex.
You all. I know she's moved to Texas, but fuck me, she's already gone, you know, native already. Y'all. Hee. Where's the Stetson? Yeah.
Sexuality is more than I even release videos. Like, it's your full-time job. But you freak out when someone else does it, make it make sense. It's obviously completely valid to exclude trans people from your dating pool if you're not attracted to them, and anyone who says otherwise.
As I say, you know, there are times, I mean, okay, we know that Blaire hasn't had bottom surgery, but, you know, she probably could, you know, if she had bottom surgery, she would have you know, no one would know. I mean, okay, if she got into a serious relationship with a guy, you know, she might have to tell them, yes, I get that. But here's the deal, all right? Just, you know, as I said, a lot of these super straight guys there are many trans women they wouldn't know. They honestly wouldn't.
Otherwise, is honestly kind of racist.
And to be honest, the super straight guys are the kind of guys who probably wouldn't, get to know any trans woman anyways, because they're all into, one night shags, aren't they?
The fact that people equate it to hatred automatically kind of makes me hate them.
No, it is hatred, Blaire. And we all hate you. Because you throw the trans community as well as the LGBTQ community under the bus so that, you can make money. Yeah, you are, as I said, a cunt.
Like, I am not attracted to little people. Contrary to popular belief, I post all the time with my best friend, JC. People think he's my boyfriend. He's not.
You have friends? Wow. People want to know someone as ugly on the inside as you? Some people are really fucked up wanting to know Blaire White.
Like, it doesn't make me ableist or anti-little people if I don't want to date a little person or if I simply am not attracted to them because I like tall men. God, I love tall men. And even if super straight...
Yes, it is, because you really shouldn't go on looks, okay? I'm a disabled person, right? And I've had people take the piss. Before I came out as trans, I did have people take the piss about... I was never going to get, laid or whatever because I was disabled, right? So, yeah, you are ableist, Blaire.
As a joke, it's still born out of something very real, which is the frustration that people are feeling from having their sexual orientation invalidated to validate the feelings of other people.
I'm not invalidating anybody's, being heterosexual. Not at fucking all. People are free to be heterosexual as much as they want, right? They don't have a right to treat women like they were fucking, pieces of meat, as a lot of sort of overtly heterosexual men do. But people are free to be heterosexual as far as I'm concerned. I'm not, undermining that. Not at all.
Like, insisting that you have to be attracted to trans people if you're straight. How can you guys be mad if people who are not attracted to trans people make a new sexuality and like, okay, y'all can have straight.
See, everything. You see, what I'm saying is that there are trans women who super straight wankers would have sex with and not know that they're super straight, that they're trans women. Is actually largely to do with, the kind of rhetoric which Blaire White comes out with, because there probably are, and the current climate towards trans people, because there will be a lot of trans people who will be living in absolute stealth. Right? Now, that shouldn't be. Trans people shouldn't have to do that. Okay? But, because funny, but Blaire doesn't realise that she's actually... aiding, trans women to actually date super straight bigots.
Super straight then. Like, there have been worse ideas. I'm just gonna say this, and people can be so mad, I don't care. In my opinion, straight men who are attracted to trans women, they're somewhere on the Kinsey scale, okay? Like, they are not.
Now, this is interesting. So she believes that sexuality is a spectrum, but she doesn't believe gender is a spectrum. She believes in binary genders. Yet she believes sexuality is that's a bit weird and a bit hypocritical, if you ask me.
Perfectly straight. I don't care. It is what it is. That includes any man I've ever been with who liked me because I'm trans. They're somewhere on the Kinsey scale. It doesn't make them gay. It doesn't make them bisexual, but they are not clearly 110% straight. And to deny that, why would you deny that?
And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with look, I mean, sure, I will admit I'm not the best looking trans woman going, but I have had, lecherous old men try to chat me up on Facebook, and they always get blocked because I'm not interested in men. But and I'm engaged anyways. And before anyone, because people will know that I'm engaged to another trans woman. Let me tell you something. Before I started going out with Kim Justice, I went out with a cis woman. Yeah, right. So sadly died. But I will never forget her because she was grateful. So, it's not like I can't, get lovingly involved with cisgendered women. You're contrary to popular fucking belief about me.
Maybe straight is the best possible word for you, but you're clearly still 1 or 2 points to the left of perfectly straight on the Kinsey scale, and that's okay. Why is every sexual preference okay, except for not finding trans people hot?
Because, yet again, this was done as a means of overt bigotry, Blaire. So you're okay with overt bigotry, are you? Well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, you are a Trump supporter.
And as a certified card-carrying trans testicle, I do have to say, I would never want to be with a man who felt like he had to go on a date with me or had to entertain the idea of being with me simply for woke points or to avoid being called a bigot. That's just pathetic. You really need to have, and as trans people, we should have enough confidence to say, it's okay if I am not your preference, I'm my own preference. I like me. You don't have to like me. Why is everyone so concerned with who's...
Well, you're only capable of loving yourself, Blaire, because you're a fucking narcissistic piece of shit. Anyways, enough of her. I mean, I do get sometimes some people in the trans community, including friends of mine, will say, "Why do I pay Blaire White so much attention?" Well, because someone has to respond to this bullshit. I mean, she's fucking, basically supporting bigotry towards our fucking community. And, I know she has lost some subscribers. I mean, she had over 1 million and now she doesn't. But, still 941,000 subscribers, And, of course, you've got to remember that this video will get shared and whatever else. I have had people come up to me and say, well, Blaire White said blah, 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 blah. Seriously, I have had that, okay? Anyways, so Reddit, now I'm surprised. The thing about Reddit is that they don't, in my recollection, I think they did close the Donald Trump Reddit board, didn't they? But that was only after the fucking riot, the Capitol riots. Generally, Reddit doesn't do much in the way of censorship from what I remember. I mean, it's not a platform I frequent an awful lot. But anyway, Reddit finally clamps down on transphobe super straight trend after neo-Nazi links emerge. Reddit has banned Sorry, I know I'm not great at reading out stuff out loud, but that does not make sense to me. Reddit has banned of the most prolific. I thought I made fucking typos. I think that's meant to read. Reddit has banned the most prolific super straight communities for promoting hate. Super straight is the new online. Yeah. Basically, admins describe the subreddit as a community for oppressed men and women consider sexuality, gender, religion to be super straight. No, just super bigoted. Yeah, so this video, which you just saw a clip of in Blaire's video, has permanently banned the so-called the ban this guy. Now, I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's in this article or if it was in the one I just deleted. Basically, hold on. I know it's in this one. Yeah, sorry. I thought I hadn't got to it. There's some very onerous stuff going on with this sort of super straight bullshit. Right. So obviously now that Reddit and maybe other social media platforms are clamping down on a super straight trolls, they have moved to a new transphobic trend. Offshoots of the so-called super straight. I mean, what is amazing about this whole super straight thing is it only began like a couple of weeks ago, and yet it's taken it shows how fast things move. I guess you've got a lot of bored Trump supporters at the moment, basically because he didn't retake power on March the 4th. But don't forget, he could come back as the Easter Bunny on April the 4th. Sorry, I remember reading that. I think it was The Onion, wasn't it? Offshoots of the so-called super straight movement, which asserts that refusing to date trans people is a sexual orientation, now includes the grown-worthy, super gay, super lesbian, and super bisexual. Why don't I just say super TERF or super transphobe? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind if they just said we're super transphobic, right? Now, at least it would be fucking honest. Yeah, I wouldn't approve, and I would challenge them, but at least they're honest enough to say, hey, we're transphobic bigots. This is the thing that I've learned over the years, right? That the far right, right, when racism or homophobia is becomes unacceptable, socially unacceptable, they try to rebrand it all. I mean, it's a bit like Nazis. You've had all these freedom parties, in Europe, which is hilarious. The fact that all these sort of former, members of the fucking, Third Reich form fucking, political parties in places like Austria and various other places, calling themselves the Freedom Party. I mean, yeah. Trans, fucking, Nazis believe in freedom. Not. Yeah. But they'll just try and rebrand themselves all the fucking time. They won't learn, right, that, persecuting, people for simply being themselves is, a really bad fucking thing. And is not good for the whole of society. Now, yes, here's the bit. So, in driving wedges within the LGBT plus community, one movement's most prolific and since deleted subreddit, Super Straight, says those who are gay, lesbian, and bisexual, but are also transphobic, are super gay, super lesbian, super bisexual. So at least they've admitted it on a now deleted Reddit. This is the bit which actually is a bit ominous and scary. Hold on. Oops. I'll get the reader out for this one because there's a word I can't pronounce.
These are all under the umbrella of the SS LGBT+ or LGBTSS+ community. Which definitely doesn't sound like the Schutzstaffel. The Nazi Special Police. Otherwise known as the SS.
It does. I mean, the thing is, talking about rebranding, I mean, the thing is, there are some sort of like, they're not prepared, the used to, it seems to me in a way, whereas they have tried to rebrand themselves, like, we're not racist, we just believe in an ethno-national state and all that, and as I said, with the Freedom Parties springing up in Europe, made up of former members of the Third fucking Reich. The thing is, though, in some ways, they're now prepared to not be so quiet about their links to Nazism and fascism. In that, you had that stage set at CPAC, which was the shape of a fucking Nazi ruin, and now basically the SS LGBT. I mean, fuck's sake, that is a fucking fascist. I mean, these people are fascists, right? They want to exclude and persecute fucking trans people. That's exactly what fucking fascists and fucking Nazis would fucking do. And of course they're going to move on and basically respin, their bigotry. Anyway, some good news, though I'm sure Blaire White will be disappointed about this. Virginia legislature passes a bill banning trans panic defense. California did this a while ago. Basically, it's if, say, a guy who slept with a trans woman and finds out they're a trans woman and murders them, or beats the shit out of them, they can go, oh, well, I didn't know they were trans, and that was, that's why I beat the shit out of them. I don't know if you remember, years and years ago, well, it was back in the 90s, there was a famous case, and I know Netflix have made a documentary about this now, about, there was this like Jerry Springer type chat show called The Jenny Jones Show. And they had, this episode was it Secret Gay Admirer. And basically they had these two guys from some trailer park, I think it was in Michigan or Wisconsin, someplace like that. And there was one of them was gay, and he had a crush on one of his best friends, and his best friend obviously didn't know this, and they brought them on together, and he told them that I have a crush on you, and well, a couple of days later, this hetero guy, who'd basically been surprised by that his best gay friend had a crush on him, went around and shot him. So yeah, it's time. Yeah, it's not. That should not be a defense. For murder. Oh, I didn't know they were trans. No, that's not a fucking excuse. We're all fucking human, and you should not kill other human beings. And if someone loves you, right? Does it really matter? Whether they're trans or they're not trans. The point is that they love you. That's the important thing. Yeah? That is the important thing here. Right. Now, yes. So, the South Dakota governor signs the religious freedom bills. No, they're not religious freedom. It's the freedom to be a Christian bigot towards the LGBTQ community. So, Kristi Noem, who is the South Dakota governor, has signed this into law. She was at CPAC, and she was bragging about how they've not closed any churches or any places in South Dakota, during the COVID-19 pandemic, which has actually caused an awful lot of deaths in South Dakota, funny enough. South Dakota has one of the worst, records when it comes to COVID deaths per head of population. Obviously, it's South Dakota and North Dakota are sparsely populated states, but, nevertheless, she just sounds like a repugnant piece of shit. It doesn't surprise me. We knew this would be a reaction. There would be a reaction to Biden being in the White House and the Democrats being in control of Congress and, being pro-LGBTQ. The thing is, what really upsets me is this is just going to hurt innocent people, right? Who, hurt innocent people who can't help being what they are. Yeah. You always get those libertarians who say, well, if you don't like the laws in South Dakota, up sticks and move to California. I'm sure there's a lot of LGBTQ people who'd love to do that in South Dakota, but they can't fucking afford to, that's a really bullshit argument. It really is. Really, there's got to be a way to stop this bullshit happening, there've got to be some legal challenges, and I don't know, a fucking constitutional fucking amendment, to prevent states from fucking bringing in legislation which persecutes LGBTQ people just for being LGBTQ people, because that's what she's basically enabling Christian bigots to do. Anyways, President Biden has immediately has allowed gay and bi men to donate blood. Yeah, there was a ban on gay men giving blood since the early 1990s, or possibly even the 80s. And I think it tells you. It might tell me here. In the early 1990s, the FDA implemented a lifetime ban for MSM due to this population's greater risk of contracting HIV. Yeah, basically saying that, it was, the implication was that, all gay men, were fucking AIDS carriers with this. They couldn't make a constructive contribution to society by giving blood. And believe me, not enough people do give blood. Now, I unfortunately can't give blood because I had jaundice when I was a kid, and I was told I could never give blood for that reason. I don't know if that's bullshit. That was something I was told. I need to check that out, because I would actually give blood if I could. And it is something which does need to be, people do need to do more of. There are shortages of blood donations. Now, one reason I also brought this up is one of the very first stories I remember reading on InfoWars, and this is many, many years ago, but I do remember it was written by Paul Joseph Watson, or as I like to call him, Pajama Watson, was the British government were considering lifting the ban on gay men giving blood, and basically Paul Joseph Watson wrote this article, "We don't want your fucking blood," because all gay men are obviously to him AIDS carriers, which is rampant fucking homophobia. And this is one of the first really overtly bigoted stories I remember on InfoWars, which wasn't the usual cloaked anti-Semitic bullshit you get with Jones. I remember that one. Anyways, yeah. Biden, I have to say, I didn't agree with the bombing of Syria, but when it comes to LGBTQ matters, he's thumbs up. He's really trying to do some good for LGBTQ people. And you really are stupid not to support Biden if you're if you're LGBTQ. If you're an LGBTQ person supporting Trump, you're a fucking idiot. Right, Democratic candidate. Yes, down in Georgia. I've been meaning to. Last night I was talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the fact that Republicans are getting sick and tired of her, so they probably will not be as supportive of her re-election. And of course, being as she's a representative, she'll be up for re-election next year. A Democratic candidate has announced a bid to challenge her. Democrat Holly McCormack announced her candidacy for Georgia's 14th congressional district on Wednesday. She runs an insurance agency. Yeah, this was a few days ago. I know other people have asked me why haven't I covered Milo yet, his ex. I will get round to it. I've got such a slew of fucking... to be honest, the whole Milo thing, I don't believe it. That he said no, he's ex-gay. I just don't believe it. But we'll get to that on Monday. I promise. Anyways, so yeah, when was this dated? February the 25th. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago. She's announcing that she's going to run, against Marjorie Taylor Greene. And as far as I'm concerned, Democrats should get behind her campaign because, Marjorie Taylor Greene not just a homophobic, transphobic piece of shit. She is an absolute repugnant bigot all round. You know, she's anti-Semitic, she's ableist, she's just a repugnant piece of shit who really should not be, you know, allowed on the floor of the fucking US Congress. So, you know, I'm glad to hear this. You know, yeah. Now, this is a common story, unfortunately. Of course, TERFs don't believe that, you know, trans women should be allowed in female bathrooms, but this actually happened to the DJ at the fucking club. Trans musicians. I'll tell you what. We'll put the reader on. Whoops. Ow. Sorry.
Trans musician Simona Castricum was left humiliated after a nightclub guard stopped her from using the women's bathroom, saying she should use the men's facilities.
Yeah, so unfortunately, this is quite a common occurrence. For this is the kind of shit we have to go through. You know, because obviously all trans women are you know, want to rape cis women. Not. I mean, here's the one thing which always makes me laugh about this. Do TERFs actually know what HRT does to your genitals? Yeah, it makes you fucking impotent. Duh. How the fuck can you rape, you know, someone if you're fucking impotent? I mean, you know, and it's, look, trans women want to do you know, well, possibly three things in a bathroom, in a female bathroom: take a shit, take a pee, or, you know, possibly, I don't know, fix their makeup in the mirror. That's about it, right? You know, freshen up maybe, yeah. You know, do what any other cisgendered fucking woman does in a fucking bathroom. But here's the thing. It does this whole you know, trans panic bullshit about trans women using female only spaces doesn't just affect trans women. No, it affects cis women as well. Of course, it's, yeah. So let's get into this.
England and Team GB Rugby International Heather Fisher has revealed she dreads using public toilets because she is frequently mistaken for a man. The 2014 World Cup winner has alopecia and says she often has to explain to people why she has muscles and no hair.
Yeah, as I say, it also affects cis women. Yeah. And please note, true scummers, yes, she's a woman and she plays rugby. So I should explain. A few years ago, because I'm a rugby fan and I'll be putting my feet up this weekend. I'm watching, you know, the Six Nations. I had some crap from true scummers who said I wasn't a woman because I liked rugby and drinking cider. What? As I said, you know, what do they think women playing rugby is? And that, you know, a mirage. Yeah.
In an interview with BBC Sport, the 36-year-old said she has been confronted by police and has even lifted her top up to confirm her gender. That sounds really, oh my god, but it felt like the only way I could explain myself, said the Worcester player.
I've actually known trans women to have to do similar. I remember one time I was with a trans woman in a pub and she got called a bloke and she lifted her top and flashed her tits, which were quite ample. I remember that.
I haven't talked about it before because I find it really embarrassing. I can smile about it now, but I put on a brave face. It's really knocked my confidence as a human being. Heather Fisher, England World Cup winner, takes break from games since losing her hair just before playing for England at the 2010.
Yeah, she has alopecia. She gets mistaken for being a guy, and that's you know, despicable. And you know, this is where, you know, that TERFs and their fucking obsession about trans women using female toilets leads to. It actually hurts cis women, you know. Of course, I know what TERFs are going to say. Well, if trans people just use the disabled toilets, well, they're not fucking disabled. Why should they? You know, I use the disabled toilets because I do have the, you know, anyone who's disabled will know. You get a skeleton. You can get a skeleton key in the UK, which gives you access to about 90% or 80 to 90% of the disabled toilets in this country. And I do prefer using disabled toilets because they're usually cleaner and you get more space. You know, but. You know, obviously there isn't always a disabled toilet, and sometimes they're out of order, as they were at my local supermarket the other week. And, you know, I have to I do fear using the female toilets, even though I am fucking female and I have no intention of attacking anyone. I mean, I actually remember one TERF once said to me, they said, yeah, I know, Sophia, you wouldn't, you know, hurt other cisgendered women, you know, but there are other trans people who would. That's like saying, you know, to a black friend, you know, that'd be like saying to a friend of theirs is black. You know, I know you wouldn't mug me, but there are other black people who would mug me. No, it's bigotry. No, you know, to assume that the only reason trans women want access to female fucking toilets is to basically sexually assault cisgendered women. It's fucking disgusting. As I said, I'm off this weekend. To watch the rugby. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I should be back Monday, you know, depending on, you know, how I'm feeling. But in the meantime, please give this video a like if you like what I have to say. Please give it, please share it with your friends on social media. If you've got any feedback, please do drop us a comment. If you sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so excited to get off for the weekend. All right, the most important thing people could do, right, you know, in regards for me, is to subscribe to this channel and get your friends to subscribe, please. It will take you less than 30 seconds to do it, and it really is really important. I couldn't, say that enough. Anyways, I will, as I say, hopefully see you on Monday. Please take care of yourselves, stay safe, and peace out.